Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Matt, and I wanted to throw up a hopefully quick impression on Armored Core 6 so far, because I really love this game, and I kind of wanted to gush about it a little bit, but talk about it from my perspective. I don't typically play these games. This is my first Armored Core game, but 90% of the games I play are fighting games, and by that I mean games like Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, Marvel vs. Capcom, etc. I love fighting games, and a lot of the reason for that, um, just to get out of the way, is I love tough games. I like games that are fast paced, make you think. There's always ways to kind of improve in them. There's lots of options to juggle, situation awareness. I like games that have some sort of execution. I don't want to say like a barrier or a hurdle, but games that aren't easy to control or that there's like lots of buttons you have to press and things you have to do, and just I like that, like the physical interaction with video games, right? Pressing buttons, wiggling your thumbs, all of these kind of things, and just the fast-paced nature of them, and again, the different things you have to think about, right? I like challenging games, I think is ultimately what I want to say. I don't like games where I just kind of sit back and play like a slow-paced kind of game or press the odd button here or there or have like more of a laid-back experience. I like very intense, fast games. Again, you're firing on all cylinders kind of thing. And fighting games definitely give me that. I get a new fighting game and I can play it for years because there's just always ways to improve, always ways to get better. There's just lots of things to do, right? So that's kind of what I look for in a lot of my video games. And I don't typically play single player games like this. I do like classic first person shooters, like arena shooters. Doom Eternal I loved because it was very much like had the features of a game I liked. There was lots to think about. There was execution things you had to be wary of. And it was just very fast paced and just very cool, right? When I saw the trailer for this, the launch trailer with gameplay and stuff like a week before it came out, I was just like blown away. Like the game just looked so cool, right? It was so fast. You're blowing shit up. Like what the hell was there not to love, right? And again, this is coming from my perspective, someone who likes challenging games. And I saw this and it looked challenging, right? All the things you had to juggle on your UI and interface and stuff, like they just looked like there was so much to do. Dodging machine gun bullets, like come on, right? So I knew it was a game that looked awesome and it would be something that I'd be interested in. I found out it had PvP and it was basically a done deal, sold, right? Like I uh I knew that that would be something that I would hopefully get lots of enjoyment out of, right? I haven't played too much PvP, but I will talk about it later. But it yeah, like I knew that this was a game I would love. Now, I was, to be honest, now this was a selling point for some, this was a concern for me. I was a little bit concerned because it was a FromSoft game. That's not to say I don't like FromSoft, um, but I want to kind of share my experience with them a little bit. I've only played three FromSoft games. The Demon Souls remake for PlayStation 5, and yes, I know Blue Point, but it's a Souls game, right? It's a FromSoft, Blueborn, Bluepoint or whatever did a very good job of sticking to the base game. They basically just upgraded the graphics, essentially, right? Um, I played Dark Souls 1 remaster on PlayStation 4 and played Elden Ring. Out of those three games, I actually prefer Demon Souls the most. And it's not because of the fidelity or any of that stuff. I think what I really liked about it was more like the mission-based levels. The like a level is a level, right? You go in there, they can design it however they want just to make a cool, fun level, and then at the end there's a boss. Like it was just very straightforward and fun for me. I didn't necessarily like. I want to be careful about how I word this. I don't want to say I disliked it, but the open world aspect to Elden Ring, which obviously was a very open world game, as well as kind of Dark Souls, and I know that may not be classified as open world. I typically don't like quote unquote open world games like Horizon and games like that. I typically bounce right off of because I hate having like a checklist of missions and tasks you have to do. It feels like work to me. I don't like that kind of stuff, right? Elden Ring didn't have that, and it was very much kind of like a similar approach-ish to Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I did enjoy. Um, and I did like Elden Ring. Anyways, I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, but what I want to say, just to go back to the open world aspect, I have huge respect for them, and to me, I actually think one of the greatest accomplishments in any video game I've ever played is how interwoven the world of Dark Souls 1 is. There were so many times, and I didn't beat it just to clarify, but there were so many times where I would go down a new path and like I didn't know where I was going, and somehow I would end up somewhere I've already been in like the map, and I'm like, how did they interweave this massive level onto itself? The skill in that is through the roof. I don't think I've ever seen anything as amazing in a video game. To be honest, like that's an incredible feat. It's something I always think about and I'm still shocked by. Elden Ring kind of did that too. I would say I got about halfway through Elden Ring and maybe halfway through Dark Souls. Demon Souls I did beat and I played it on multiple playthroughs and I kept beating it. And I think it was because again the levels maybe the gameplay overall was shorter and it probably was, but I like that the levels too were like there was less slow periods. You know what I mean? Like, because the levels were tighter and there wasn't really so much walking between level-ish areas, I just found the gameplay to be a lot more fun for me. That's not to say that I dislike Dark Souls or Elden Ring, but uh, there was just an element to them that didn't click with me. And Demon Souls didn't necessarily have that. There were levels in Demon Souls I didn't like. I didn't like, any of the levels with tar and poison and all of that kind of stuff, right? But the levels like the first level, and I don't remember the name of it now, where all of the first world, where everything's like castle, um, Baltero, I think something like that. All of those levels were fantastic. The World 4 with all of the skeletons with the dual Uchikatanas and stuff, I love that stuff. And all of my builds in all of these games have been a very mobile build, dual wielding swords, no shield, dodging and parrying as much as I can, right? And just getting right in there in the action. Like that's the kind of gamer I am, right? I've never wanted to stand back and blast someone with magic. I wanted to be right in there dodging their attacks and slashing them with swords and parrying their attacks, right? I just wanted to be right in there. And people have told me that with that I would love Bloodborne and Sekiro, and those are games that definitely look awesome to me. I just haven't played them, right? I just haven't gotten into them yet. They are games I definitely intend to try. Sekiro, I'm waiting, until like maybe I hit a slow period in my gaming and it's on sale. And Bloodborne, I'm kind of waiting. I have on PlayStation actually through PS Plus, but I'm like, are they going to remaster this thing? Is there going to be a 60 FPS version of it that comes out? Because I'm kind of holding off until that. Um, Anyways, back to this. I touched on. I wanted to say, so I'm playing this on PlayStation 4, 5, sorry, and I'm playing it on the performance mode because I do prioritize frame rate over 4K graphics or whatever. This game is beautiful in motion. This is not me playing the game. This is captured off of my PlayStation 5. I think it's recording it in 1080p. The quality definitely doesn't reflect like how you're watching it. Also, I wanted to touch on, and I don't know if I said this already, this gameplay footage is not my first time playing this. Yes, this is a tutorial level, but I recorded this right before I started playing. or sorry, right before I started recording this video. So this is me after 25 hours or so of experience in the game. So I kind of know what I'm doing, right? Like, um, and yeah, just man, the all the things to keep track of, the dodging the missiles, the jumping around, the using the different weapons, the thinking about the staggers, your energy, all of this stuff. There's a lot going on. This is a hard game. I understand why people are bouncing off of it because this boss was tough. I My first time playing against him, I died 3 times. And I'm like, this guy is hard. Like, he's really hard. But after the third time, they showed me a video, and it showed me using the melee attack. And I'll be honest, the first time I was playing, I completely missed that part of this level. The tutorial where it tells you have a melee attack. I just thought I had the two guns on my right hand. It didn't occur to me that I had a melee attack yet. I missed that my first playthrough. But then the video showed me, and I'm like, oh damn, I have that, and I came through, and the next time I beat him, right? Like this game is about learning your options and getting comfortable with the controls, which obviously is going to take some time in a game like this, right? I'm still getting used to the controls. Um, so, anyways, but yeah, but I beat him, right? And it was fun. The game was great. This in the background is showing one arena fight against the computer. It's a 1v1 arena fight. The aspect of this is fucking cool as shit too. Like the fact that they added this feature, again, maybe it's because of the I like fighting games and stuff. I just think that this is just so fun. Like I've had so many a lot of my hours are spent replaying these, right? Testing out my build, and just playing these matches. And the more I unlock, the more fun they are because the tougher they are, right? So again, that's who I am. But I wanted to explain kind of where I am in this game. So I've been playing for 25 hours, at least according to my PlayStation 5. Some of that's probably time, building things and buying weapons. There's definitely I've definitely replayed missions to get money so I can buy new stuff. I haven't beaten the campaign yet. I've started chapter 5, which I believe is the last chapter of my first playthrough. If you don't know, there's 3 different endings, and I do intend to play this 3 different times to get all of the endings and unlock all of the parts and then make some cool builds and all kinds of stuff. I have some plans I want to do for this game, and I'm going to be playing it for a long time. Um, but yeah, like it's so fun. So this is PvP. What's on the screen now? This is my first PvP match because I wasn't. I'm mostly waiting until I beat the game, truthfully, before I get too much into PvP. But I wanted to just try it. I just wanted to try something new, right? And so far, I there's 2 matches, or I should say 2 sets. That's maybe my fighting game lingo kicking in. So by a set, I mean the way PvP seems to be is it's a first to two. The first person to win two matches wins the set. Okay, so that's how I'm referring to it. I probably didn't have to explain that, but so this is the first match of my of my first set in Armor Core. Uh, I haven't experienced any kind of netcode issues. Um, and yeah, like it's ran really well. Right now we're in a level where, as you can tell, this is probably a level meant more for like a 3v3, which is an option for PvP. I haven't done it yet, but I've only tried one-on-one. But I do also like this level because we're trying to find out where each other are, right? And it comes into play a lot in the next match because the person tries to uh, play a very different game than they played this first game, right? And they're trying to use the cover of these buildings and the height of this level to get an edge on me. Um, and yeah, like dude, it's just really cool. Like, so now we're like, okay, now I know roughly where he is. I'm gonna go hunt him down. But the aspect of this game too, or this level, because there's so many barriers and buildings and stuff, you can kind of corner an opponent. There's situational awareness, and not based on weapons or energy or that stuff, but our positioning in the map. You know, if I can get his back against the corner, maybe I can help stagger him quicker and stuff like that too, right? Like there's a lot of things that just speak to me, right? Like this game is fucking awesome. So I beat him. So now we're gonna go into the second match, right? And if I win this, then I win the set, right? As I explained earlier. This match he tries to go a lot more vertical, right? And he has a build with reverse joint legs, so he can be up in the air. And I'm gonna say, so a slight issue or something I have to balance with the execution of this game, and it's purely because I'm playing on controller, because I'm playing on console, is when you jump with the X button, you take your thumb off the right stick, so it makes it harder for you to aim and spin your camera around, right? So I'm kind of juggling how to do that because I do typically like these bipedal builds a little bit from what I've seen. Like that's my favorite build so far. Um, but I like the jumping aspect. So I don't know. I may go to more to a reverse joint build eventually, but uh, yeah, just trying to understand and juggle the jumping with the aiming. I like, and there's obviously an aspect that would be like, oh man, this game would be better on keyboard and mouse where you don't have to do that. And I do probably think that overall this game would be better on keyboard and mouse. But I do like, again, like the balancing of the execution, right? And trying to get better at it and fine tune it and learn when to do it, learn when not to do it. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. This game is just fucking cool. Like I totally get why people are dropping the game because it's hard for them. They can't get the tutorial boss is hard. Then they get to the chapter one boss Balteus and they get fucked. And I got fucked too. I died against him for 2 days, right? It was the second day I beat him, and I had to try all kinds of different builds and get used to knowing when it dodges his attacks. But I learned so much. And again, I like that, right? I like the challenge of learning and trying to get better and improving and that's fun for me, right? And the chapter 2 boss murdered me as well. It took me 2 days to beat that boss as well. But I learned so much from it, and when it was done, I felt so satisfied. Like I like these challenging games. Again, I understand why some people bounce off of them, right? But yeah, this game is just fun, man. Like if you like fast-paced games, if this just looks cool as shit to you, then pick it up. It's a fucking really fun game. Oh man, I that was so satisfying that hit. I haven't really touched on the building aspect of this game. Dude, there are so many options. There's so many things to do. Like, yeah, there's going to be builds that are stronger than others and more viable than others. But this game is just so fun. There's so many options, and I kind of touched on it before. When I beat the game and I unlock all of the parts, I do want to go kind of crazy and make some kind of custom builds, maybe with some familiar characters and like replay the mission, treating it like I'm these characters and going into PvP with them. And I think that's going to be really fun. Like I like that kind of stuff as well. I do like the character customization aspect, and just right now I'm just having fun playing a build that is just really fun to play, right? And doesn't look anything special. I mean, I think he looks cool. Like I like his color scheme and stuff. But I'm just playing a build that I think is fun. Dual shotties in the front. I know it's kind of a meta build. I don't really care. Like it's fun, man. I like that you can play this game kind of how you want, right? You can play a tankier build that can take more damage and dish out more damage, right? But I again like kind of the more fast and nimble approach, right? Um, yeah, I don't know if I have much else to say. The footage that I have in the background is kind of this is my last set that I'm going to show of PvP or of the game in total. This tank won the last one. They smoked me, and I was worried that they were going to smoke me this one, but I think I performed well. Um, and I won this one, I guess to ruin like anyone really cares. But yeah, man, this game is just so good. Um, I feel like I'm gonna miss something, so I'm gonna let the rest of this PvP footage play. Maybe chat about it a little bit, but I'm gonna think about if there's anything else I want to touch on. I don't. I really don't have anything. I like the aspect that you can go back and replay the levels and get S ranks on them. There's collectibles in the levels, and some of them seem pretty well hidden. I watched one video, and the person said like, "Oh, it's just a small detour. Like you'll find everything easy." It's like I've missed probably half of the items, and I am kind of purposely trying to look for them in missions. So there's definitely replayability in that. Oh, one thing I did want to touch on. A lot of the reviews, again, I haven't beaten the game yet. I'm on the final chapter, chapter 5 of my first playthrough. But a lot of videos, a lot of the pre-release videos have talked about how the story was boring. I really, to be honest with you, I think this is the best story I've seen in this From Software game. I did because of the concerns of hearing some of the communication in your comms while you're playing. And I get it, there's a lot going on, it's frantic. I turned my volume up to like 9 for the voice volume in the options. And that helped a lot. Like, I understand kind of what's happening. I think the story is really cool. I'm really invested in the story. And there's 3 different endings, right? And I'm about to finish my first ending, and I can't wait to play, not just because the game's great. Of course, I'm excited for that and unlocking more parts, more arena fights, all of that stuff you can do in New Game Plus. But I get to see more of the story, see a completely different ending. I'm excited for that. I think this story is dope. Like, honestly, I think it's more interesting and it's more easier to understand and follow than any of the other From Software games I've seen. I don't feel like I need to watch lore videos to understand what's happening, which is what I needed to do really in Demon Souls, to piece everything together. This guy smoked me. A cool thing about this fight is I watched it and I realized when my back was up against the wall there and he was spinning around the corner, I could have done my assault armor or whatever it's called, my core expansion attack there, and that may have smoked him, or I pinned myself against the corner. Maybe I could have gotten out of there. You know what I mean? Like, there's it is very much like a fighting game where I can watch a replay and go, "Oh man, I did that poorly. I can do better next time." Like, I kind of understand how I could have played that situation better so that maybe next time I'm in that situation, I know how to counter it. Dude, I don't know. The footage is run up. I think I've gushed about this game enough. I don't think I have much else to say. This game is just fucking cool as shit. I love this game, and if anything I said resonated with you, I encourage you to try it. I do have some feedback, but this video's went on for longer than I intended. Most of my feedback is really not like bad things that I think are wrong with the game, but things that I think that could improve the game, right? Especially in regards to PvP. But I may make another video about that after or later, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I don't know. Again, this game's great. I don't have anything else to say. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. Um, Thanks for watching if you've made it this far. See ya.